Bankruptcy attorney Brian Barboza here. Today I'm going to discuss what are some of the more common reasons people file for bankruptcy. Before we get started, if bankruptcy is something that you're interested in talking about or you're interested in pursuing, please feel free to contact me, give me a call, or go to my website, barbozalaw.com. You can book an appointment to meet with me for free right through my website. All right, what are some of the more common reasons why people file for bankruptcy? Well, the first one that I see often is credit card debt. Now, this might seem like common sense, but what is unusual or a pattern I see is that people actually wait until the very last minute where it now has become an urgent matter. And so what do I mean by this? Over time, individuals' credit card debt starts to balloon, starts to get really large, and then they can no longer afford to make the minimum payments. So then they start missing the minimum payments. And eventually, maybe it's a few months, maybe it's a few years later, the credit card company sues the borrower. And at that point, we have a lawsuit. So either someone comes into my office and they have this summons and a complaint showing that they have to be in court and they have to answer the complaint, or they've even waited beyond that and the credit card company has actually got a judgment against those individuals. And now the credit card company, with that judgment, is garnishing wages, levying bank accounts, placing liens on property. So though that's a very common reason why people have to then file for bankruptcy. Another common reason that people end up filing for bankruptcy is because of foreclosures or pre-foreclosures. Someone has become in default on their mortgage payments. They're now behind. They're getting served with notices by their lender, and now they've been informed that the home is going to be foreclosed upon. And this was really, really common in, as you can imagine, 2008, 2009, 2010, during the real estate kind of crash. But it's still pretty common today. If someone's being foreclosed upon, they oftentimes will then file bankruptcy before the foreclosure to try to stop the foreclosure and see if anything can be done about that. So that's a second reason why many people end up filing for bankruptcy. Another one, which used to be a lot more common, but it still happens, is medical debt. Especially if someone is uninsured, if they've incurred a very, very large medical debt, then oftentimes their solution is to file bankruptcy. When you start to get into the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 range of medical debt, and especially if there's been a hospitalization or someone had to be helicoptered somewhere to a hospital, those debts can get astronomical. And oftentimes at that point, the best thing for the individual to do is just to file bankruptcy, start over, and just get that fresh start. So that's not too uncommon. Another one I see quite often is a debt that arose after an auto repossession. So oftentimes people buy a car and the car payment's very large, or for one reason or another, they just stop making the car payments, and eventually the car lender will will repossess. And after the repossession, what a lot of people I don't think realize is the lender eventually is going to get around to suing that person for the difference. So the car gets taken, it gets auctioned off for pennies on the dollar. You owe this large debt that now has accrued interest and penalties and fees. And the sale of the car at the auction didn't even come close to covering the difference. And so you're eventually going to get sued for that difference. And then once that creditor, that car lender, gets the judgment against you, they're going to do the same thing the credit card companies would have done with the judgment. They're going to levy your bank accounts, they're going to garnish your wages, they're going to place liens on property. And so that's a very common reason why I have people come to my office, is because they're now being sued or they've been sued because of a car loan that they just didn't pay. Another reason people end up filing bankruptcy is tax debt. Now, tax debt's extremely complicated. Not all tax debt can be discharged in a bankruptcy case. Sometimes they would actually file what's called a Chapter 13 in order to pay tax debt over time. But tax debt actually is a common reason people end up filing for bankruptcy. So those are probably, in my experience, the top reasons people end up filing for bankruptcy. If these are the kind of debts that you're dealing with, you want to discuss bankruptcy further, as mentioned, please feel free to give me a call. Go to my website, barbozalaw.com. I'd be happy to talk with you. As always, I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching it. I appreciate your time, and have a good rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.